Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So I saw that Pepsi commercial that's very controversial that a lot of people have been talking about. I will include a link to that commercial in the description box so that you can watch it for yourself. But basically what you have here is Pepsi exploiting the movement for Black lives in order to profit, in order to sell products. And not only are they exploiting the imagery of that movement, they basically whitewashed the movement by replacing Black activists with a whole bunch of white people, by replacing Black imagery with white and Arab imagery. And I just think that that's wrong. I think that is another example of cultural appropriation, another example of exploitation. And while they claim to be speaking out in a certain kind of way for social justice, essentially what you have here is an example of social injustice. Our struggle is not a product to be sold. Many people have died at the hands of these police. This is not a joke. It's not a commodity. It's not something to be exploited, not something to be taken lightly. People have died. We have all these countless people who have died at the hands of the police. We got Freddie Gray. We got Michael Brown. We got Alton Sterling. We have Philando Castile. We have all these countless people killed by these police, and there's no justice in sight. And I think that it is fundamentally wrong for Pepsi to exploit that movement and to exploit that suffering so that they can sell some Pepsi Colas. I think that that's ridiculous. And I think that it is ridiculous for them to whitewash our movement. You know, essentially what they did is they featured and highlighted this white reality star. And they basically used her as a replacement for the real people who are on the front lines in the struggle against police brutality. You know, there's a popular image of a Black woman who faced the police. There are images that come from these protests where Black women are at the front lines facing these police, courageously and boldly standing up to the police. And they want to replace that with this white woman. We can't allow that. We have to voice our opposition to this exploitation. And for them to have that scene where the woman is taking off the blonde wig and wiping her lips off, wiping the lipstick off her face, I just think that that's another example of cultural appropriation. I mean, I think that in a way that's an, kind of exploitation of the natural movement that's going on among Black women, where Black women are returning to their natural beauty, respecting their natural hair and their natural features and embracing who they are and loving themselves. This is another exploitation of that. This is another cultural appropriation. And, I just think that this is deeply disappointing. And I think that it is backfiring on Pepsi. I think that if Pepsi is really concerned about the movement, if they really want to support the movement for Black lives, then they need to put their money where their mouth is. They need to give money to these organizations that are actually on the front lines, fighting every day to end police brutality, fighting every day to end injustice and racial profiling that exists in this society, fighting to end racism in this society. If they really support that movement, then they need to support it with their dollars and not exploit it by borrowing imagery from those protests and whitewashing that imagery. So those are my thoughts about this. Tell me what you think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.